Carvalho, Chapter 9. One day, when I was returning from Midukere, I saw Carvalho and Mandana walking down a road running between green fields, glittering in the bright yellow sunlight. Quite a few of the big people of a town hadn't liked this. A scientist with a salary of rupees 1500 a month on intimate terms with a village young man. In the beginning, they said Carvalho was all right, but he was slightly cracked, and they attributed this to too much book reading. Once, in a meeting of the planters, a big local politician remarked that one had to be careful in one's dealing with Carvalho, as he was a man under constant police surveillance and was also suspected of being a communist. I acted as though I hadn't heard him. People who knew nothing of Carvalho had praised him to the skies, and now the same people, without reason, were running him down. I honked the horn of my jeep and stopped. Hello, my dear young man. We were on our way to you. Where are you going? Climb in, sir. I was going home. They got into the vehicle. I have decided to dispose of my lands, sir. Some buyers had come and I went to drop him back at Modigere. Why? Why do you want to sell the lands? I am fed up, sir, of Malnad of agriculture. Are you? But this part of your world has made a captive of me. Yes, I am fascinated. Really, sir, and you are a Bombay man yourself. We shall all learn, young man, perhaps a little slowly. We have yet to learn to look with our own eyes open. I wondered whether this was true. The glowworm with lambs in its tail was one. How many more wonders of nature was I unaware of? I thought, when did you see Mandana, sir? Ramya had invited me for the Mari festival at your place, sir, and I had been there for the past 2 weeks, Mandana himself answered. It seems Mandana told Carvalho that what I had seen in the forest was not an ordinary pot used for distillation of liquor, but was a way of tending bees in Malnad. And Carvalho, it seems, said he would like to see it for himself, and so they were here. When Pyara saw us, he was happy. He dashed in and asked my wife whether he should put the kettle on for coffee. Kiwi danced around in glee. Carvalho went to stroke its head, but Mandana shouted, Sir, don't touch him. He's a one-master dog. He doesn't like others to touch him. Carvalho stood at a distance and praised Kiwi. After coffee, we left with Pyara and Kiwi as our leaders. Since we had made our way once, it was easier. This time, with sights, we cleared a path near the tree under which was the bee pot. Bees were getting in and out of it. Oh, they are black bees. Splendid, splendid. And that is why they have bitten so hard. But they work equally hard. I stood a little away from the pot. Pyara, Mandana, and Carvalho were near it, and Mandana slowly lifted it up. As the pot shook, the bees made a hissing noise. Feeling the weight of the pot, Mandana nodded his head approvingly and said, Sir, at the least a big bucketful. Then started the twanging sound, and the angry bees, one after the other, attacked us. Pyara danced in pain. Mandana shouted at him, Hey, Pyara, stand still or disappear. The more you move, the harder they will sting. With an effort of the will, I controlled myself and slowly moved away. But tears welled up in my eyes and overflowed. I looked at Carvalho. Though the burning sensation was unbearable, he had bravely stood his ground. Mandana raised the pot and blew over it. The bees, snake-like, hissed and came out. Orange-colored honeycombs, like sheets of beaten gold, shone at the bottom. And all the while, Mandana was explaining something to Carvalho, who kept nodding his head. Mandana, putting the pot back in its place, said, "Sir, we shall not put them into the box now. They have made plenty of honey. We shall collect it, leaving but one honeycomb. They will come back again. Once they start breeding, we shall put them in the box." Carvalho fully agreed with him. "Hey, Pyara, bring a knife and a plate." Mandana shouted to Pyara. Pyara ran home with Kiwi. Turning to me, Mandana said, "Sir, the tin of honey we gave you was made this way in the pot." Mandana took the knife, scraped out the honeycomb, leaving but one. By the time we returned, my lips were swollen and hung down. So were Pyara's. Our eyes had become tiny like those of the Mongols, but Carvalho and Mandana hadn't suffered half as much. Carvalho said they had developed immunity by being frequently bitten by the bees. My wife, on seeing me, commented that I looked a newcomer in my own house. Carvalho was happy and on our drive back to the research center said, "All these years we were under the impression that beekeeping in a scientific way was our invention. But the pod breeding says that it really is ancient. We should try and see whether it is possible to improve and popularize this method." Since my lips was all swollen, I said nothing.